In this video, I want to talk about some tips I've learned throughout my time doing photography and doing long-term travels. It may sound as simple as just bringing all your equipment, heading to a location, and just taking photos. Which, it could be as simple as that. But there are definitely ways to make your travels more enjoyable and more efficient. And I'll be talking about ways to do that next, starting with the first tip. The first tip that I want to talk about is keeping your luggage and everyday carry light and simple. It may be very tempting to just bring all your cameras and lenses with you on your travels, even if it's just for a week or two, but trust me, you definitely want to watch what you bring to your trip, limiting your items to most, if not only necessities, compared to everything you want to bring. Just imagine getting yourself to the airport, getting through check-in and security, and then after you land, you gotta carry and drag your heavy-ass luggage and backpack to wherever you're staying, hotel or Airbnb. Then you have to do all of that all over again when you head back home or if you're heading to another city for your next destination. Learning from past trips is just a troublesome experience, honestly, that can be entirely removed by just simplifying your luggage before your trip. In addition to simplifying your luggage, this also helps with your everyday carry. If you have too much gear to choose from, you might end up overcomplicating your entire daily shooting process, deciding which lens or which body to choose from, compared to, let's say, if you only had one body and a few lenses, each lens with their own specific use cases. So you know right off the bat which lens you'd bring for which type of shoot, eliminating any cause for confusion. For example, with my travel setup, I have my main body that I use 99.9% of the time in my Sony a7R5 and my three lenses, the 24-70 GM2, the Zeiss 55mm, and the 70-200 GM2. The 24-70 GM2 is my main all-around lens that I know will get the job done 80% of the time. It's all reliable in terms of quality as well as focal length since it's so versatile. The 70-200 GM2 are for those scenes and locations where I know I want to get closer, but I know I physically can't do so, like at observatories or hikes where I'm trying to get pictures of buildings of a landscape or cityscape, or if I just want to get closer for more descriptive shots at the location. And then there's the Zeiss 55mm. I love the focal length and it's one of my favorite Sony E-mount lenses out there. It's one of the lighter Sony E-mount lenses, so it makes for a great lens when I just want one small lens for street photography. Compounded with the fact that it's an f1.8 lens, it makes for a great street photography lens to use at night. All in all, traveling simple and being as minimalistic as possible is something that has worked really well for me and really simplified my entire travel photography process. The second tip is a bit related to the first tip in terms of planning and getting ready right before your travels, and that is researching the location you're planning on heading to. Now, when I say research, you may be thinking itinerary and scouting potential locations in the city you're visiting, which is also a part of the planning process I'm talking about, so you're not wrong in that regard, but there's way more to that. When researching potential cities and locations looking for photographing, I take everything into my decision to go there. The weather, the season, potential cultural events happening during my time there, etc. And that entire process gets even more in depth when I'm able to actually get to the city and I'm able to get better predictions and seeing when I can get rainy shots, sunny shots, overcast shots, so on and so forth. Because our time during our travels can be very limited, for me, getting as many shots in the conditions that I like to shoot in is very important so I can increase the chances of getting a photo I like. Combine this with the rough list of potential locations to go to that I spoke about when scouting for areas to visit. Thus far, I've been able to get photos I like during my travels and felt that this process has worked quite well for me. The third and final tip is to just let your curiosity run loose, strolling around the city and getting lost in your surroundings. Now hear me out. This may sound like I'm contradicting myself with the second tip that I just talked about, but I'll explain in a second. I do think planning and researching about your location is very important. This way, you know exactly what type of location and event you can look forward to and photograph during your time there. And I don't think many would disagree with me on that. However, to a certain extent, you can really only plan so much. Rarely does anything ever go according to plan, especially if you start planning down to a T, which is why I like roughly planning rather than planning every single thing. Anything more than rough planning, and I personally just get annoyed and frustrated, which is why I love having a very flexible schedule. This allows you to break any plans you had just in case you had a sudden idea or area you want to photograph. In addition to that, getting lost and just roaming around without a schedule has gotten me so many great photos I love that are just so different because everyone has surely seen those few popular shots most have seen online. But many people don't take the time to just explore around those areas after getting the shot. And that's where you can really start to differentiate your photos and get something unique. And in my opinion, these unplanned parts of travels make for some of the best memories that are everlasting and make for great photos and stories. Now don't get me wrong, The grand landscape and cityscapes, along with the beautiful iconic areas of a city, are always gorgeous and extremely fun to photograph. And I definitely encourage you to get your own versions of these grand shots. But sometimes the shots you get while just roaming around and exploring are the photos you end up loving the most. I love traveling and taking photos. To make sure I'm not stumped and held back by anything, I always try and make sure my travel setup and kit is as efficient as possible. With each trip done, I always look forward to learning more ways to make it more efficient. By lightening your load and simplifying your gear, you free yourself to focus more on the process of photography rather than the challenges presented with too much gear. In addition to that, researching your destinations allows you to really anticipate and really capitalize on unique photographic opportunities each place presents, maximizing your time and potential photos you can get during your time there. And finally, all that time you save from stressing out on gear or making plans at the last minute can really allow you to embrace the spontaneous moments and give yourself the opportunity to get lost in your surroundings, which thus opens the door to unexpected moments and authentic captures that can truly become a significant part to your travel experience. Anyways, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed and were able to get some ideas for your own travel setup. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe. Let me know about your next travel plans in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Later.